You have to really think critically and get that narrow on who it is that you even want to target. And AI can help narrow this down.
It's insane how good your quality of content can be. And even AI can go in and scrape the content that you've made and figure out which of your organic posts are going to make a good paid ad.
And it can scrape different forums and use the exact language and pain points that they're using. I think a lot of business owners do not do that research. They're just doing surface level stuff, trying to speak to everybody. And at the end of the day, it's not working.
It's especially not working anymore. If your marketing feels really hard, it's because you haven't done that. You're not clear. Danielle and Kyle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. We're so excited to be here.
So excited.
I literally love talking to other couples who are a lot like Chris and I. And with the brief times that I've really gotten to drop in with you guys, and I know Chris has gotten to talk to you guys a lot more, and I get to talk through him and ask all the questions as well, I just feel such a similar vibe in the way that we think and the way that you guys operate. And so this is going to be such a fun conversation, not only on really helping business owners scale, but also the dynamics of couples that show up when you are working. So how long have you guys been together?
We met 12 years ago. And 12 years ago.
Don't ask me.
I was like, don't ask the guy.
I was glad that you took the lead on that.
Yeah, no.
I didn't want to say the wrong number.
I was 24. You were 25. So that was 12 years. I just aged myself.
Yeah, there you go.
No shame. Yeah. In LA.
But yeah,
babies.
we met through a mutual friend. I was working in commercial real estate. She was still in chiropractic school. And a mutual friend, introduced us. She came down to visit, and she was like not into guys at that point. I think you had gotten
also not into women, just not trying to date anyone.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Plot twist, but also tell.
And then she met me. We hit it off. And actually, she was still living in the Bay Area. So we said, okay, if we're going to do this long distance thing, because I'm in LA and you're in San Francisco, I'm not messing around. Like, is this a thing? Is this not? I know it's, whatever.
So you just knew, is that what you wanted? You wanted a relationship? Yeah.
We've been a couple since the day we met.
Yeah.
Because you from the top were like, look, I'm either all in or not. And then how did you feel about that?
We just immediately fell in love. It was like, there was no question that we were going to be each other's people. It was like magnetism, you know? And then leaving, I think you extended my trip by a day. You bought me a flight.
Yeah.
So that I could go home
Yeah.
a day later. And we were supposed to go a month before we saw each other for the first time after that initial meeting. And I think we made it 2 weeks, and Kyle flew up to see me in the Bay. So
I love the confidence, Kyle, of like, you know what? Just give me 24 more hours.
Yep.
To fully cap this
to
deal.
Sell you.
Yeah.
He pulled out all the stops.
Okay,
he
what?
sent me a music video. So
okay, did he make it himself?
He did not make it himself.
No.
I don't know that would have worked, knowing his singing
would not
voice.
have worked.
He's really good at a lot of things, but no, he sent me a Rye music video called Open, and I ended up walking down the aisle to that. Like, it was so romantic that it became, and our daughter's name is Raya. So, he extended the flight. He was very romantic.
Okay, this is something huge that I hear in a lot of we're just going to use this word, power couple dynamics, is like,
I accept that.
When it tends to work, a lot of times the male does take has the ability to take a lot of lead. And because we're also we can be really in our masculine, and that's really needed a lot of times, is for someone to just plan things for us, figure things out, to be able to take the wheel. And when I hear the dynamics kind of not like that, because I've now done how many episodes and also had so many girlfriends in entrepreneurship, a lot of times the relationship struggles because we need to literally sometimes be able to just sit back and not think. How has that played out for you guys in your relationship? Like, did you hit spots because you now work together that you really struggled with kind of figuring out each other's roles? Or did you kind of always know what your roles were going to be in work life?
That's a good question. And I'm kind of thinking through every season, right? Because over 12 years, things have shifted
for sure.
so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I joke all the time. The last thing that I want to fucking think about is where to eat dinner or like what to have for dinner. And so having somebody who's willing to kind of step in and make those decisions allows me to kind of put my decision fatigue away at home. And I can focus more energy on my career and on work. And, you know, I think that little things like that, but also, I don't know, we've kind of stair-stepped each other's success over time. And so there were times in our life when I was a little bit more in the masculine and building the business and doing the things while Kyle held down the fort and took care of our kid. When we had our son, so we did IVF for both of our children and we had our son and we were so excited to finally be pregnant with a viable pregnancy. And I had this practice and I was like, I don't know if I can, you know, continue to build this practice when I've worked so hard to have this child. And, you know, do I want to be a stay-at-home mom? Because wearing all the hats when you're early in business, it's like you're doing the service, right? You're showing up every single day. You're the receptionist, you're the HR person. Well, there's no HR because it was just me, but you know, but like you wear every single hat. And so I was looking at the future and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And, you know, fast forward, we had my son and I felt so much more passionate than I had before about what I was doing in my career. And it actually turned up the volume of, I guess, that masculine energy, if you will. But I was just so called and driven to move forward in building the business. And that was a season when Kyle was still working in corporate. And he's like, you know what? You go, I got this. So he worked from home and we had a nanny, but he was, if our son was sick, he was the one that stayed home. If our nanny was out, he was the one that stayed home so that I could go into the office and do everything that I needed to do, continue wearing all those hats to grow and scale our business in a season where you would have thought maybe more traditionally, I would have been the primary parent. But, you know, and my son now likes Kyle more than he likes me. So
well, I'm hilarious.
I've paid the price for it, but
no, that's not true.
No.
But yeah, I mean, you know, we had a unique story in that for a while, even before that, before we had kids, I was in real estate, but she was still a chiropractic student, you know, so it was all on me. And then she was like building this thing and then trying to figure out the lane. Do I work for someone else? Do I start my own thing?
Right.
And then, you know, as she mentioned that, like that kind of shifted. And now we're at a point where, you know, luckily we're fortunate enough where I've been able to leave corporate. So now we're trying to build not one, but two companies together and have not one, but two kids together. And yeah, the lines are blurred a lot, but I think one of our superpowers is like, we can just, we complement each other really well. And I think that's kind of a true marker of like great couples, like you and Chris, right? It's like, it's not opposites attract. I think that's bullshit. It's the strongest couples really complement each other well. And we do that in personal, like at home and also in business. Those lines get blurred a lot, especially as we're trying to now we're at the dinner table talking about like ad spend and ROAS and like, you know,
it's great. And I talk to me.
It's great. Yeah.
Our toddler's like, hey guys, what about me?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, okay. So, you know, we're having to find boundaries and set boundaries, especially as the kids are not babies anymore. They are talking and need attention and they want to go wrestle and, you know, after dinner. And it's like, dude, I'm tired. Like, I really just want to turn my brain off and watch a show and pass out. But I can't do that, you know? So now we're having to figure out entrepreneurship with parenthood. And yeah, it's a journey. And I'm sure in a couple of years it'll be different and we'll have to not reinvent, but relearn what it means to be a, you know, a couple, both, you know, in business and at home.
So you guys are probably, well, I know you're doing things that you don't even know you're doing, or you do know that you're doing them, that are kind of keeping, obviously, the communication together amongst all of this and the kind of like being able to know who's doing what, who's got the kids this day, who's got the business this day. What are the communication rituals that you guys have to make sure that you're connecting? Like, what do you think are some of the things that are making you feel good about these different seasons that you can like spot that, you know, you have and other couples don't have?
I think that the first one is understanding the vision, and that takes us communicating about it all the time.
Is that like once a week? Is that like, what does that look like when you guys are like talking about the vision?
Yeah, no. Right now we're in a season where life is a little bit chaotic in both our businesses, our dynamic with our kids, in, I mean, everything. We literally just moved yesterday, you know?
Yeah, literally. You guys, they moved their whole house yesterday. I'm like, how are you guys? They're like, a little delirious.
Yeah.
We moved our entire home and they're here. So you're crushing it?
Kids are with grandma. So,
yeah. Okay, great.
This is great. No, but I think that for us in a season like this, it's honestly a day-to-day thing. And we're kind of in survival. So we're doing a little bit less of that vision casting. But I would say on a more typical ongoing basis, it's at least once a week. We lived by the orange circle. So we would get the strollers out. We would plop the kids in there. We'd go on our loop. It was like a 3-mile walk. And every single week, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's the plan? Because I think when you can move forward with the point being the vision, the point being not just the destination, but kind of why you're on the journey, having that why really communicated well between the both of you, it helps to make the hard season worth it. And then also doing a calendar check. This is something that we do a couple times a week, but at least on the weekend, we look through what we have coming up. And it's like, okay, this day I've got, this interview or this meeting, or I'm going to be in office training the team. I need you to handle this, or I'm going to go to a networking event, so I won't be able to be home that evening. And it's like, he'll say, no problem, I got the kids. So he'll do pickup. He'll make sure he's home to relieve the nanny. And I also think another piece of it is, and you probably have more thoughts on the communication part, but we aren't shy about acknowledging the help that we have, right? And, the abundance that we have to be able to have in-home care for our daughter. We have an amazing daycare that we send our son to that's now preschool. And just being able to lean on those people, those systems, and then coordinate with each other about kind of filling in the other gaps. But I think we talk more than most couples.
We talk 24/7.
Yeah, we're
all day, every day. Like we get up before the kids get up. So we're working, a few hours before they're up. We're working on the business. Then we go into our day. And then at night, we're working on the, business or, kind of winding down, whatever. But I think the main way that we communicate is very direct. But we understand when it's direct, but like, don't take it personal.
Okay. Did you have to have a conversation around that? Were you like, or was it just kind of like you both understood?
That was I think my mind, like, because I played high school sports, and it was like, hey, coach gets on you, like, don't fucking do that. Do it this way next time. You're like, okay, coach,
Yeah.
And obviously in business, you're moving fast and you're stressed and you're trying to figure stuff out and you got a million things on your plate. And so my tone is not always whatever. Like,
trust me, we could go off on this.
Right?
Yeah. It's not what you said, it's how you said it.
It's how you said
exactly.
it. Exactly. Right. And I think I'm still learning how to not move as fast and can take other, her feelings into consideration. And also she's moved faster, I think, to be like giving me shit and like, get over it. Like she doesn't need to tiptoe around me if we're having business stuff. Like, no, this doesn't work. And we also are in alignment. We have not so many, but we know so many couples that are in business together, and whether the clients or counterparts, what have you, it seems like if there is not an alignment with a growth mindset, it really caps their ability to just continue moving forward. And the North Star, like what you're aiming, the vision, like what you're aiming for is really important to have alignment on. But then also, what are the micro steps that you need to get there, that you need to do on the daily basis? Because it's a fucking grind, right? So like, what are we doing together ultimately to end up at this destination? And we've just seen friends of ours, and I'm sure you guys have too, that it's like, if there's one kind of holding back, the work ethic isn't quite there, or let's go this direction instead of that direction, they kind of just are stagnant. And so I feel very blessed that we have that line of communication, but we also can like pivot and move fast and be like, all right, we're going to go all in on this. Let's do it together.
I love that. The vision is so important. I've had so many times throughout the years where I'm like, Chris, I'm like, we need to go on a walk and I need to know what do we want? I need something that I can like look forward to now because things are really hard. And I also need something I can look forward to out. Like, it's really weird. Marriage is a constant, ongoing, daily, ever changing conversation. Yeah. And I think that you just summarized that perfectly. I love that you also shared, like, right now you're in a survival season because those are also required. Like, you can't constantly be in growth rocket ship mode at all.
Right.
It's like especially having the conversation like, hey, we're just in survival. Like, what do you need? What do I need? What does this look like? Like, how do we what does maintenance even look like? I would love to know for each of you, because you had said something that I recognized right away with Chris and I. Like, I got so much more like bold because of Chris. Like, I gained so many great things from him. I want to know from each of you, what was like one thing from operating together in business or even in marriage that you've gained in business that's been a game changer from your partner?
I can go first. I am a recovering perfectionist, type A, Enneagram type 3. So I'm a builder more than a perfectionist.
Yep.
And I definitely have had to let go of a lot of things in business to be able to scale. I think early on, it's so easy when you are one person doing one thing, you have control over everything, right? The quality, the experience, every single thing has your touch on it. And so then growing to having a team member, having multiple team members, having other people do my marketing, having other people do my social, I was getting overwhelmed and just drowning in trying to control everything because I wanted it to reflect my quality and kind of what I expected.
Working out has been such a huge part of my identity, and I work out 3 days a week. I have for years now, but creatine hasn't always been a part of my routine. But in the last year or so, it has been, because I know how much it does for my strength and recovery. But honestly, one of the things is all the studies that are coming out about your brain health. And I'm telling you, that keeps me so excited about it, along with what I know it's doing for me physically. And that's what got me into Momentous Signature Spec Creatine, is that I'm not just hoping for the best. I want to make sure that I'm getting the best one out there. Creatine is one of the most researched and effective supplements out there right now, but most brands have spent most of their energy on flavors and marketing instead of actually making the creatine better. Momentous did the opposite, and Signature Spec is manufactured in pharmaceutical facilities using reverse osmosis water purification. And it's verified through a 6-stage testing process with 4 independent agencies. That means 10 times fewer impurities, 2 to 5 times tighter heavy metal limits, and it's screened for PFAS and microplastics. It's also an ultra-fine powder, so no grit, no clumping. It just mixes clean, and I put this in my protein shake every day, and I used to hate that gritty feeling, and it has none of it. So that's the Momentous standard, the relentless pursuit of better. And knowing what I know now, especially as a woman who lifts and wants to actually get the full benefit of what I'm taking, this is the one that I love. If you want to try Momentous Signature Spec Creatine, head to livemomentous.com and use code EARN for up to 35% off your entire first order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code EARN for up to 35% off. livemomentous.com, promo code EARN.
And I think Kyle has been such a gift for me because he's kind of just got this like chill, go with it, like golden retriever energy at times. And I don't know, you've really helped me over time just not sweat the small stuff. And like, look, one saying that you took from real estate early on was don't trip over dimes on the way to dollars. And that has stuck with me. And I think that, he's been kind of my perspective. And I think in really beautiful, like powerful relationships, you have this, right? You can see what the other person can't and communicate it in a way where they can receive it. So Kyle's able to see a situation and help me see maybe where I'm missing something, or I'm pushing too hard, or pushing on something that doesn't really matter. And so I think being able to just like not give a shit about the things that don't matter, I don't know that I would have been able to develop that skill set and that kind of confidence that it's all going to be working towards the greater good if I didn't have him in my ear kind of, whispering that I was doing a little too much.
I love that. How about you?
One of my favorite things about Danielle is her ADHD, which she talks about a lot because it keeps life interesting, right? When we first met, I told my friends, I was like, this girl's a game changer. Like, I don't know what it is, but she's fun and exciting and whatever. And it's, we joke about it, her ADHD being a superpower. And I still, to this day, make fun of her because every few days she would like rearrange the furniture in the office in like our first clinic, and patients would come in like, why'd you move the couch? And she's like, I don't know. I just wanted to.
Energy was off.
Yeah, the energy was just off. So it's over here now. It's like, okay. So that has helped me in this season, especially. And there's so many examples of how she's helped me. But in this season right now, we've started this, marketing consultancy. We tried to pivot and go this, other direction where we said, hey, we will do services for you and we'll do all of this thing for you and I'll hire all this team. And I said yes to everyone. And it was like, not the right fits. They wanted custom solutions. And I just said, yes.
And it was work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just dug this hole that I felt so trapped by. And if it was not for her to give me permission to be like, just rearrange the furniture.
Yeah.
Just tell them can't do it anymore. And it was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about that too a little bit with the group, but it's like, oh, okay. If I'm unhappy and this isn't in alignment with my ultimate why and vision, then I can pivot. And so, yeah, we're kind of just in this recalibrating season of like trying to figure out what this next phase and chapter is. What do we want? Which is the, I don't know, everyone asks themselves that question, but
yeah,
I think just giving me permission to be like, okay, this isn't working. I tried it. I gave it my all. I'm going to come back and pivot over in this direction now and see if this is more the direction I want to go.
And that is like the $1 million secret of entrepreneurship, because we build our own prisons all the time. And that's why it is really powerful to, number one, you guys are in our mastermind, which is, I feel so lucky that you guys are in there, that we get to like work with you and learn all about you. But also that I love it because I get to learn from everybody's business too, and going, oh, we can do that. Oh my God, we have permission to do that. Wait, you just pivoted. Wait, you had this product and you couldn't, like, it wasn't working and you were like, screw it, let's throw it out and try something new.
Yeah.
And just the power of having two brains in a business is huge. Don't get me wrong. It gives a lot more room for argument and, two different opinions and trying to figure that all out. But truly, when you can find that beautiful dance that you guys have found, it's like you get double the skill sets. You get double everything. Yeah. Which is also why it's powerful to work with you guys, because you do get double the brain power. I always think that when you decide to work with a couple in business, people don't realize that they're, they get Chris, but they get Chris coming home to me, asking me my perspective too. And you're getting double the people within it. So, you guys went from like absolute burnout. So you've experienced this, which if we're talking to, we're talking to an audience who's probably experiencing this right now, but you went from burnout to a multi-location clinic to building an AI-powered machine that helps brick and mortar owners take their marketing in-house. And so what I want to talk about right now is, for the people that you help, how are they feeling? Like, somebody listening right now wants to understand that you get them. Tell me what's going on with them right now.
So this was me in 2023. So this person has probably experienced success in their business. They are really, really good at what they do, and they somehow figured out a way to be successful in monetizing that. Maybe they didn't go to business school, but they learned to be a hairdresser or a chiropractor or, some sort of service provider. And they are busier than they can even fucking handle. Like they have patients clients coming in from all directions. They're completely booked. Like I said before, they're wearing all the hats. They're doing all the things, but they're not quite at a place where they can grow their team or buy back their time yet, because as busy as you are, capacity is a freaking lie, right? But at that point, this person is convinced that their capacity is maxed out. There is no more time. There is no more money. They are doing everything that they possibly can. They just cannot figure out a way to predictably get leads into their business every single month, turning into consistent revenue and consistent growth. For me specifically, early on in practice, this looked like hitting the ceiling of $25,000 a month. My ceiling at my first business, which was, a few years prior in Seattle, was $22,000. So that became my capacity, right? The internal belief of what was possible. And so I got to this point where I started growing this business again in Southern California, and it was like 22,000, 23,000, 23,500, just incremental growth. And I'm like, man, I am so...
But doing all the work.
Yes. Yeah. I was getting up at 4 a.m., Lori. I was doing my reports for the patients that I had coming in that day. I was just giving my son a kiss as he woke up, and Kyle took, again, primary parent duty at that time, running out the door, missing breakfast. I was getting in late at night, missing dinner. I didn't know how did people over there create more than $25,000 a month? I couldn't hit that ceiling. And again, I had no white space on my calendar. And I think that we had this wake up call. Mentorship And working with somebody who's steps ahead of you in business is so crucial, because I started working with a business coach at that time who was able to shine some light on areas that I couldn't see. And she's like, well, what about here? And what about this? And I started questioning my capacity and realizing the limiting beliefs that got me there. And I mean, we skyrocketed at that point. But so this person, like, again, you think that you're completely trapped, but it's because you have these limiting beliefs that you haven't been able to examine. And it's such an exciting person for us to be able to help, because once we realized that cap and that capacity lie, we went from $25,000 that month, I think, to $44,000 before I brought in my first associate. Wow. And then a year later, the next summer, we were at 100K with one location per month. So it's just, you get so stuck in doing all the things, being in the weeds and not really understanding how you could possibly get further than you are because of that belief of capacity.
What was the conversation like between you guys at that time? Like when you were stuck, like what was happening at home?
I mean, I think to your question earlier, because we weren't necessarily in alignment, we talked about this life that we wanted to build where we had, why build a business, right? It's to have time freedom. It's to be able to enjoy each other. It's to, go on vacation. It's whatever. Like, we build a business so that we have freedom and we have control. And I ended up, like you said, building a prison for myself. And so that put us in this position where there was maybe a little bit of resentment and a little bit of questioning, like, why the fuck are we even doing this in the first place?
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's the worst feeling.
Yeah. But ultimately, I think it also came down not just the limiting beliefs, but a lack of systems.
Yeah.
And that's really what, we continue at each level that we get to, when we are really feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. And I call it bees in my head. I got bees buzzing in my head. And I just like, I can't get them out. People are reaching out to me, messaging me on Slack, and like just everything is coming at me from all angles. I've realized that it's really a lack of systems and processes to be able to delegate. And it's like, okay, let's map out logistically. And this is also where we kind of complement each other, where she's like CEO visionary, and I'm like, okay, let's map this out operationally. Like how are we going to tackle these things, and what are the action items we're going to do? It's like, I literally have written out multiple times all the things I hate in my business that are driving me crazy, that are keeping me up at night. Maybe it's an employee name, maybe it's this process, maybe it's this problem. My doctors can't close, whatever. And then seeing it all, I start to kind of group them together of like, okay, well, this is operations, this is marketing, this is systems, this is hiring, this is staffing. Okay. And then I kind of look at it through a few different lenses. It's like, could any of these be automated with AI or better technology? Like, is there a software that solves this particular problem? One of them right now, because we're wearing all the hats and we've had some, turnover, our ops manager has left, is we're running payroll for our 15-person thing. And it's like such an innocuous thing, but you have to calculate the timesheets, and then, they're clocking in a little bit early. Are they trying to get overtime? And it's just like babysitting, right? It's like, I don't have time for this. But, our payroll provider now integrates with Claude, and it's like, great. I can automate probably 85% of that headache, And so it's like, okay, check that one off the box, or off the list. And so how can we go through this systematically? It's like, do I need to delegate this to someone on my staff? If not, can a software or technology or AI take over this? Do I need to hire someone or contract out? Is there some kind of third-party service? Like, we hired an HR company. They've been great, editing, podcast editing took us forever. Now we hire someone. Now it's great. So it's like, how can we buy back our time a little bit, either with technology or leverage or other staff, to be able to like, okay, now I can focus on the things that actually light me up, that I can continue to move the business forward, and I'm not in this prison anymore. I can see the vision again, because before I was clouded by all the bees.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things for business owners is understanding how people are using AI in businesses like this. So tell me, you just gave a pretty great list of how it's changing your life, but can you go a little more lengthy into really understanding, especially for the people that you help? So
yeah,
like the brick and mortars and things like that. Let me know what some of the big things that you think people are not seeing, how they're using it.
It's really around marketing. So I'll give you an example. For a local business, there's really 3 areas that you need to diversify, or kind of, I don't want to say master, but spend time and energy building these funnels to be able to diversify your lead generation sources. In our world, clinic owner, local business usually relies on word of mouth referrals. That's great when it's great, but when it's not, you're like, okay, I don't have.
Who's going to keep talking about me?
Yeah, exactly.
Mary,
right?
can you tell people about us at the gym?
Yeah. So there's no system to have that consistent lead gen to be able to grow and scale, hire team. You then have money mindset issues because you're like, oh, it was good this month. Is it going to last? Because this month was down. So those 3 areas that we really try to focus on and are implementing AI into are paid ads on Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, and Instagram or organic social as well as the second one, and then Google for SEO ranking, organically. If someone searches chiropractor near me or your service near me, are you in that local map pack and showing up in the top 3? Because if you're not, you're invisible online. Right. So that is powerful because people are actively seeking you out. They know the keywords, they have intent. For Facebook and Instagram, and we don't do too much on TikTok, but we're mostly on Meta. But those algorithms are finding people that have shown an interest or might have a problem that, the algorithm has determined would be interested in your service. So then it comes into the problem of, well, what do I say? And so a lot of clients that come to us say, I feel like I'm doing everything, but I'm not getting any results, or I don't know where to start. Those are the 2 things. And basically both of those scenarios are solved, I think, by taking 1 or 2 steps backwards and really getting clear on who it is that you want to speak to. We all think we know who we want to target online, right? In the chiropractic world, and one of our clients was like, well, I really like working with women. Like, great. You've narrowed down half the population, right?
Wonderful.
Can we take it one step further?
Are you a lady?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Are you
With
near
a spine?
in Huntington Beach or willing to drive? Yes, come on down, right? I have a service for you. And so I said, okay. And I chuckled the same way. I'm like, okay, well, we gotta take it a little further than that, right? Because the riches are in the niches, right? We grew our clinic very fast because we weren't back pain chiropractor general clinic. We were focused on, prenatal, pregnant moms, babies, and young families, and, educating them how chiropractic for that population is very unique and different. And so obviously we speak to them in a very different way. But this client said, okay, I want to work with women. Maybe they have this issue, maybe they have that issue, maybe they have this issue. And I said, okay, let's pick like who's the highest intent one. Right? There's kind of a marketing phrase of like, who has the bleeding neck? Because they will pay whatever you want.
Who's in the most pain right now?
Exactly.
For you guys, literally physically.
They have the highest intent. They are most motivated. Like, who is that? It's not someone with autoimmune issues because, maybe you're not a functional medicine doctor, right? Like that's maybe a longer stretch. She said, well, I have a couple of case studies and I really like working with women with scoliosis. And my program helps reduce the curvature of their spine. And a few patients have been told that the only solution for their pain relief was surgery. And I help them avoid surgery. And I was like, holy shit, there it is. So you have to really think critically and get that narrow on who it is that you even want to target and who might be a good fit. And AI can help narrow this down, right? So once we know who we want to target, now we have to figure out, well, what messaging really moves the needle for them. Every local business says, I own this, I do this service, come on down, and let me tell you 5 tips about chiropractic, why it's great. No one gives a shit. Because if it hasn't even come across my mind that chiropractic can help me, I'm scrolling right past that. It's not resonating with me. It's not, so we have to speak and use messaging and meet people where they are. So we've developed kind of this framework that we call the Fab Five, which I recently learned the Fab Five was Bravo celebrities. Fab Five was also in the early 90s a college basketball team.
Yeah, I was like, we can't call it that.
Yeah, so this is another husband and wife. She was like, where'd you get that name? And I was like, Chris Webber, like University of Michigan. Like,
I have a very different Fab Five.
Exactly the same. It's not what I was thinking.
I was like, okay, well, whatever. But trying to really understand, if we were to think about our best patients, our best clients, they all have similar characteristics. So for a chiropractic clinic or any health and wellness clinic, they have to have the right condition, scoliosis, right, that we get good results for. They have to have a trigger event that is motivating to them, because not everyone with scoliosis is interested in seeking help or care. So maybe they just got news that they need surgery from their surgeon. They have to have the right growth mindset, right? Because we're cash only. We don't take insurance, right? Because we won't get reimbursed very well. So I need someone that is active. They go to Pilates, they eat right, they've tried other things, it's not working, right? They're investing in other cash-based services. Another one is kind of the financial mindset, or the financial ability. They have the ability to pay for this program. And then household support. Usually health decisions are not made by one person of the family. It's kind of a collective agreement on this. And if their husband is thinking all chiropractors are quacks, then it's going to make it very difficult to either convert that patient to care or keep them long term, right? Because they're always going to be thinking, kind of that confirmation bias of what they're hearing.
When I was first scaling my company, I remember realizing I could not just hire somebody who understood marketing. I needed someone who actually understood the beauty and wellness space along with the supplement space. And they also needed to know how to do e-commerce. And they needed to understand our voice and be able to hit the ground running so they could help us scale and not have a huge learning curve of catching up. And people are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. That's wild to think about. While I'm sitting here, somebody just got the next great hire. So with Indeed sponsored jobs, your post gets boosted. So it actually gets seen and you get matched with candidates who fit what you're actually looking for, not just whoever happens to stumble across your listing. And you only pay for results. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
So mapping out those 5 circles, if we were to look at this like a Venn diagram, it's like, okay, well, let's go really deeper of like an AI, and Claude, paints this beautiful picture with this, custom skill that we've developed. But I'm talking like a 12-page document of this avatar profile. Now I know who I want to target, and now I know her inner monologue. I know the words she's using because I can scrape Reddit and it can scrape different forums and use the exact language and pain points that they're using. And then it also can map out the belief architecture. What are the current limiting beliefs and misconceptions she has about my service, about her problem, about why what she's tried hasn't worked or whatever it is, versus my dream patient who has gotten excellent results in my care? What do they believe? And what's the difference between the two, right? And so now it's like, okay, I can start to build a content plan, whether that's ads or social media, and start attacking those limiting beliefs. Instead of saying 5 tips for chiropractic, right? I can say, here's why massage is not working, right? And I can try to reframe the misconceptions. You're going to massage every week, the pain comes back by Wednesday, here's why that's not working, and it will never will work. We've developed a specific program to get to the root cause. Click to learn more. And it's like, oh shit, okay. Now we're able to really go deeper and speak to kind of the underlying subconscious beliefs they may not even realize that they have. I think a lot of business owners do not do that research, which is the foundation for them to build all ads and social content from. They're just doing surface level stuff, trying to speak to everybody. And at the end of the day, it's not working.
It's especially not working anymore.
Yeah.
It maybe used to, or people would get lucky with some SEO or different things like that, or some messaging.
Yeah.
Or maybe they had more money to spend, or maybe the right person got the message, meaning just on a certain channel that they went out to. But that will not work anymore. And we're seeing this a lot with people. And so what you just gave is gold, because if your marketing feels really hard, it's because you haven't done that. You're not clear.
Yeah.
So you are guessing. You're consistently going, okay, well, now I'm going to try to, even though overall it's like at first it is kind of a guess, but you're guessing in a way that like you've done a lot of work to have a pretty good idea. And now it's not even guessing anymore. It's testing. Now you're testing within the language that they're using and the type of person that they are to go, oh, this works. And it's so much more dialed in. Your money goes so much further and your content is so much easier. Like your marketing content, which I know is it's the biggest struggles for people. Why are they they're not seeing me in any post. They're not seeing me in anything that I do. So it makes you feel like you're a terrible business owner.
Yeah.
It makes you feel
People
like you
don't
shouldn't be in entrepreneurship. It's like, you've got this great service or this great thing that helps people, but you can't get that message out. So where do people start when they come to you guys? Is that pretty much where they are? Is they're just like, man, this is not literally working? So is that like kind of the baseline of where you start?
Usually, yes, always with messaging. It's getting clear on who do we want in our office? What are those, those Fab 5 filters? And then what is the core messaging? And that's the foundation. From there, we can build the ads, the social posts, what have you from there. Every clinic, every business is in a different spot. Some have tried ads, lost money. Some have tried an agency, didn't pan out. Some are getting leads, but not booked appointments. Some are getting booked appointments and they're no showing. So there's all these micro steps in kind of that, new lead to new client funnel that there's a lot of pitfalls along the way. Right? Oh, they're coming in office, but they say they, can't afford care. Okay, well, your messaging sucks. You're getting the wrong people into your funnel, right? Garbage in, garbage out. They're just looking for a Groupon, like, single adjustment, single visit, give me a crack and I'm done. And so I think, you mentioned the time and being able to test different things. We have to test different angles. Right? Not everyone is coming in for scoliosis pain. Some have been recently told that they, surgery is their only option. Some, have this thing, some have that thing. So we try to go deeper and diversify the different angles. And then now Claude connects to all of these like really awesome tools where I don't need to hire a graphic designer or a video editor anymore. I literally have raw footage of Danielle just talking in our office with her iPhone, like FaceTiming a friend style. And I'm able to put in captions, put in a text hook over her. I'm able to, Claude's able to create some AI lifestyle video that looks very realistic of our target person who we want in our audience so they can see themselves visually in this ad or in this post. And it's able to trim the clips when she messes up and says, fuck, it takes it out. And, it stitches all this together. Oops, sorry. Stitches all this together, adds some background music, and it can schedule and post it without me ever needing to go in Instagram or ads manager. So it's able to put together the full package now from research to messaging to the creative. All she has to do is give me 3 videos, a week. And now I can test different clips, different versions. And we're able to really collapse the time for data analysis to figure out what's working. Before I'd have to hire an editor, it would take a week. That would be expensive, or I got to rely on an agency or, graphic designer. It's like, I could have it in minutes.
Wow.
I think that's a big misconception that people have when they come to us. They're like, I'm doing everything. And also AI seems really complex. So there's no way that I could learn it. If I'm already doing everything and getting these results, how could I add one more thing? I already don't have time. But I think that what we've found with how fast AI has progressed over, God, even the past just 6 months, year, it's
crazy.
It's insane how good your quality of content can be. And even AI can go in and scrape the content that you've made and figure out which of your organic posts are going to make a good paid ad, So it's really incredible. But I think the through line for most of the people that are coming to work with us is I feel like I'm doing everything and nothing is working consistently.
And so what does that look like for somebody? Because they're like, okay, this feels like a lot. AI can feel like very overwhelming. Yeah. What does that look like when you work with someone? Are you working with them for a while? Are you empowering them to do it? Are they staying on your agency for a long time? Are they staying with you guys for a long time? What does that whole process look like?
Yeah, so we have a digital community where, we have mini courses and trainings and then 2 weekly calls to be able to help guide support.
Okay.
But It really depends on the clinic. Some may have an ads agency already and they're like, I want to focus on social and SEO, or vice versa, right? So it's really kind of mapping out what is the fastest path to revenue so that you can get butts in seats. Because ultimately, leads don't matter, clicks don't matter, views don't matter. We need clients in the door.
Yeah, and you guys get it better than anyone. Yeah.
Usually that's through a paid channel, right? If you're running ads and it's not working, okay, we need to fix that funnel because we're just paying Zuckerberg's algorithm to go find people that are likely to buy. You know, if we're low on budget, okay, we can focus on SEO and ranking and trying to get up there because people are searching for us. And then also for a local business, I mean, we also have trainings on there that are not AI focused. How do you network with other providers that also work with your audience? Now that we're clear on who you want to target, they are likely going to other businesses in your area. So how are you building relationships effectively instead of just saying, send me all your people, you know, and they're gonna be like, who are you? And why would I do that? You know, Danielle has really helped a lot of our clients think about positioning yourself or your business as, here's how I can help you get better results with these clients.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the clinics and clients that we work with come and they're like, yeah, well, I tried reaching out to everyone in my town and nobody wants to collaborate. Like, relationship building doesn't work. Referral partners don't work. Okay. It's like, cool. What are you saying to them? Yeah. Right. And most of these business owners are going to other people and they're like, hey, you know, I'm Danielle and I have this chiropractic clinic and I'm really good at adjusting people and you should send me your clients.
Yeah. You're like, no. Why would I do your marketing?
Why would anybody do that? Yeah. And like, as a business owner, when somebody comes to me, especially if let's say I'm in practice, I'm working, I'm busy, and they're like, here are my cards, here are things
I'm tired, bitch,
that you can do for me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm fucking busy. Like, get out of here, you know? And so we coach people on going, like, let's say to an OB, and this OB is maybe frustrated because they are dealing with all these patients who are in a ton of pain, and all they can really say is like, rest, or maybe, you know, stretch, or maybe take Tylenol. And now there's like this question about Tylenol and pregnancy. And so even OBs are like kind of a little bit conservative with that. And so they want a solution for their pregnant patients. So if you can open a conversation and be like, hey, I see this pain point that you have in your practice. You're probably dealing with a lot of women in pain and you're feeling frustrated because you don't have a lot of solutions for them, you know? And like, first of all, I'm looking for an OB that I can potentially send people to. I have women who are coming in every single day who are just finding out that they're pregnant. And I would love to have a good provider in the area that I can send my people to. Yes. Can I meet with you and learn more about your practice? Right. And then once we've built that rapport, once they've let us in and we've learned about them and how we can support their business, then we're able to say like, hey, also this pain point that you have, we really can help with that. What we've seen in our pregnant patients is a reduction in pain by blah, 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 blah. Right. So we have that opportunity to, even when we're pitching ourselves, use it as a way to benefit them and their business. And this is just something like, nobody teaches people how to run a fucking business. Nobody teaches people how to build relationships, you know,
how to market.
It's not intuitive, you know? And I think, so to answer your question in a very long way around, most people, when they start working with us, are spending about 90 days building the initial system in their business, right? Like 30 to 90 days to get the AI system installed, to have their website copy SEO optimized, to have ads that are bringing in not just leads, but booked appointments, to have organic social that's helping to feed that system, because it's this engine, right? All three of those things work together. Because if I Google you, I want to then go to your social to see your personality, to see who you are, what you do behind the scenes. If I find you on social, I want to go to your website and read more about you to learn about what you do potentially, right? And if I come upon an ad, I need to be able to see that you have good reviews on Google, that you rank high, and that, you know, so it's like, it's this ecosystem that works together. And so the first 30 to 90 days, and you can correct me if I'm wrong there, I feel like it takes about that amount of time for people to really get that system established. But Kyle's brilliant with all this stuff, and he's such a nerd with AI that he's got it mapped out step by step. So people, whether it's themselves or a member of their team, are implementing and kind of plugging that system into their business. And then most people stay with us longer than that. Because it's not just that system, right? And it's the strategy. It's like, okay, well, hey, this worked and this didn't. How can I optimize, or how could my messaging be different? And AI can help us with that, but it's still a robot at the end of the day. So we have a call where people bring, like, click by click, share their screen, and Kyle's able to look over their shoulder and say, I would tweak this here. I would put that there. You know, your pixel, all the technical stuff that I'm just like lying if I try to talk about it right now. So I
But
won't.
she's the clinical side.
So
right?
we also
So-
have a mastermind call weekly where we're talking about the business side of things. So not just the clinical like patient care side, but how to have a conversation with another provider, how to hire somebody, how to have a tough conversation when your employees are not meeting the mark, you know? So
Or calling clients dude and babe. That was
Yeah.
that was something we workshopped. Yeah.
Oh, fine.
yeah.
Or bro.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we've got one this week, and she, you know, is spiraling because she's like, I've got my second, you know, assistant type person in the practice, and I have to fire her, you know, 30 days in, and she's never had to be a leader before. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's be a little more discerning as we're bringing people in about what we're looking for, what filters we use when we're interviewing. So a lot of our clinics will come for the marketing, but they stay for kind of the ongoing support and business mentorship from that brick and mortar perspective.
Do you guys think that there's an even bigger opportunity for brick and mortars right now? Because honestly, I would love your opinion, because obviously I'm in brick and mortars all the time, maybe not obvious to you, but like hair, different services. Like I end up making friends with a lot of like hair salon people and people who have services, because you sit for hours doing these things. And so I learn a lot of the insides of their business. And what I've learned through the 20 years of getting hair extensions at a million different places through all my moves and sitting for 7 to 8 hours when you get a full set is that, okay, so I need to talk about something I get asked constantly. And it actually takes me back to when I first had the idea for my company, Glossy. One of the very first decisions I had to make before I even had the product in hand was what platform we were going to even host the store on. And so many people from other founders that I completely trust kept telling me the same thing for completely different reasons. And that was to use Shopify. So if you've been sitting on a business idea, Shopify makes it easy to make it happen, because everything you need to start selling is included and ready from day one. So when Glossy actually launched, I understood exactly why everyone kept pointing me there, because here's what I wish someone had told me is the second a customer is ready to buy, that's not the moment to make them work for it at all in any way. And Shopify's checkout for Glossy is so smooth. And once someone's ordered once, their info is already saved. So the next time they want to go and check out again, that alone keeps people from bailing right at the finish line. So honestly, the bigger shift for me was on the growth side. Shopify handles the setup and the back end for Glossy. So I actually have time to focus on growing the brand instead of fixing tech problems at midnight. And that's time back in my life with people I actually love instead of buried in the back end of my own site. So with Shopify, nothing stands between your idea and real business. So you guys go make it one. And if you're ready to stop putting off your business and start hearing cha-ching, then you're ready for Shopify. Start your free trial at shopify.com/happy today. You heard that right. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/happy. That's shopify.com/happy. Brick and mortars tend to like be a little bit behind I'm in the digital world, obviously. So it's like everybody wants to learn so fast. They tend to be a little bit behind everybody else. So I just feel like this opportunity to do exactly what you're saying is mind blowing for them, because they're going to be heads and tails above everybody else if they do this. Is this like not super spoken about yet?
I think there's the average local business owner is very hands-on. The average chiropractor has a single room and a table, and they work with their hands.
Yep.
Hairstylists, same thing, right?
Yep.
Nail salons, gyms are a little unique in that they, have some staff and some trainers and things like that. But yeah, for the most part, they're focused so much on client fulfillment, and
totally
the way
they're in it.
And so the time constraint is very painful. It's like, I don't even have time to post on social. How am I going to record? And it's like, now with AI, it's one, not that technical, but two, it collapses that time. And so, we're able to kind of bridge that gap a little bit. I think a lot of marketing programs don't focus on, or like tips or strategies or whatever, they don't focus on local. They focus on like e-com brands, because they're spending $10,000 a day to sell some thing. And it's like, well, that doesn't really work for someone spending $1,000 a month.
Exactly.
Max.
Right.
So how can we make sure that every dollar is spent effectively, and every minute of your time that you do have to post is as impactful as possible? And that, again, coming back to the messaging piece, it's like if you can only get 3 videos out a week on social, let's make sure that we're speaking to the right person about the right pain point, you know, and helps them see reality or, you know, their world a little bit differently and how you can help them.
I would invite you to look down your street and identify the hair salon, the chiropractor, that like those service providers. Go look them up. Look at their website. Look at their social. So many of our clients come to us, and if they have a website that they own and it's not being rented from another service, they made it themselves on like Wix or Squarespace.
In 2016.
In 2016. It looks like they made it themselves in 2016.
Yep.
So yeah, to your point, 1000%. They're doing just good enough, right?
Yeah.
Because again, nobody taught them how to be an entrepreneur. I think in the digital space, we're constantly surrounded by consuming and interacting with people who are creating new ways to do business. And so it's just this kind of hunger for learning that doesn't necessarily exist when you're in that brick and mortar. You're kind of confined to your space, to Kyle's point, doing that service day in and day out. You're just not exposed to as much, and you don't care about as much. And so, you know, it's just, I think there is so much potential and capacity. And I think if these service providers just did like 1/10 of this reputation building, if people know you exist, they would flock to you. You know, there's so many people that are hidden, that are invisible because they don't know how to use this technology and leverage it. And that's why we feel so passionate about helping these people in particular, is because there are so many good providers that are not being shared with the world because they don't know how to get themselves that exposure.
I mean, from somebody who has moved a lot, and this is how I find people, is searching them and looking at the 3 things that you mentioned. It's very real, number 1. Number 2, if you even look remotely good, because in a sea of bad, I'm like, okay, they look like they have their shit together at least a little bit. And if you really look like you have your shit together, I'm like, great, done. Like, it's
excited
like
about
a very fast decision making. If the messaging is really on, then I'm like, okay, they get me. But if it looks bad, you're kind of like, oh, okay, well, but the messaging's great. It's kind of like it has to kind of be all of it. And I hate to tell people that but it's also the best news ever for people who can, you know, take this leap and say, okay, let's get this all together, because you're just going to be, it's not like the digital world, because people can now just make anything look good really fast. And I feel like they're not doing that yet at all in the brick and mortar space. And so I think you're just going to be winning like crazy if you can implement all this, because people like me you're going to make it so easy for me to say yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Is so many people, I'm like, what is this website? This is crazy janky.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, a common pitfall too, is people think like they're, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to redo my website, and they pick new fonts, and it's like, what did that do? You know,
Exactly.
wow. You know, like that it's not a revenue generating like marketing activity. You know, or I'm going to do a new, newsletter. I'm going to spend all day designing an email newsletter to my current, you know, clients. And it's like, cool.
Who opened that?
Who opened that?
Yeah.
How did that give you an ROI on that?
Yeah.
Right. Like, we constantly have to be getting new people in. So instead of choosing new fonts, why don't we do a little bit of keyword research and figure out what people are searching for online, and then make sure that that's in our copy on our website. Like that would move your website higher in the rankings, get you more visibility versus different fonts, colors, things like that.
What do you think people are leaving on the table? Like, what do you think, what is something that you want to say to your ideal client?
It's not that hard. You have enough time, or your team can do it. I think that those are the biggest things that we see, is like, oh, it's going to be too complex. There's no way, I'm too busy, or my CA makes $20 an hour. I don't think that she's going to be able to learn AI. I think that if you realized how simple it could be with the right systems, we look at social and it's like, oh, it's so overwhelming. How could I ever post once a day? And it's like, well, you used Claude to not, it wasn't even a talking head. It was a B-roll video of us doing Shockwave. I know Chris has had our Shockwave.
He loves it so much.
We can do it on C-section scars, and it helps with the visibility. It helps with the granular tissue, so it's less of that lumpy. It helps reduce the adhesions. People don't know it exists, right? So we had this B-roll video. It was 30 seconds. Claude clipped it, created a script, did the voiceover. everything. And it popped off, and we got a ton of engagement, and we had people click through and book. And
wow.
It doesn't have to be that hard. Like a tripod in your office, a little bit of intentionality, and potentially a team member if you have one to help you. It's less than an hour a week, and you will have a consistent marketing engine that literally is building your reputation for you while you're able to do the thing you feel passionate about, serving your clients, serving your people. It's so much easier than you realize.
I love that.
Our community members or, clients will often say, I don't have time. And then my response is always, what time do you get up in the morning? And I usually get the same kind of laugh, like, okay,
I know where you're going with
this. I sleep until 8 and my first client's at 8:30, and it's like, if you want to gain time back and you want to build the system, then we got to stretch a little bit in this season.
Yep.
Get up at 6, work from 6 to 8, and then you see your first client or you're out the door, whatever that morning routine looks like. But the beauty of it is once we, kind of install the system, it's kind of just managing it, so it's even less time ongoing.
So it's so much easier than we think.
Yep.
That's the message.
That's the message.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's like, for somebody who's in massive burnout right now, I know it feels like you just don't even have another inch left, but this is the work that even if you just, it's like a face off with yourself. I know you guys know this because you're entrepreneurs, and it's like, no, I really am so burnt out. I don't know where anything else is going to come from. But especially in this amazing time in life that we have with AI that's changing the game, like, you will get time back.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your personality because you're probably acting crazy to your partner and your kids and all the things because you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, you're a different person when you're exhausted. So I know that is your mission, to help people, get their time back and their life back with what you're doing. So do you want to add any last info for people listening?
Yeah, I mean, if you're curious about this system and implementing kind of the marketing AI strategies that we use, you can come find us on Instagram, and you can DM the keyword AI machine.
AI machine.
Yep.
Let's
AI
build it
machine
together.
on Instagram. Yes, you guys will help them build it.
Yes.
Give us your handle, and we'll also put that all in the show notes too.
It's at the Expanded Collective.
At the Expanded Collective. I'm putting that in show notes. And then you're going to DM the word AI machine, and you guys can check this all out. So I'm so grateful that you guys came on.
Thanks for
having us.
Yes. And you guys, until next time, earn your happy. Bye, everyone.